Jason, Disney asked me to do this podcast thing. I need some advice.
You've got to have banger guests.
Walker and Leah. Daniel Deemer.
Tim Simons.
Adam Copeland.
You're the one asking the questions.
How? Why?
And they better answer.
I don't know anything.
Epic.
This season is just makeup.
Quest.
I'm Arian Samhadri. Welcome to the Percy Jackson and the Olympians official podcast.
Available wherever you get your podcasts. And watch season 2 of Percy Jackson streaming now on Disney Plus and Hulu. Learn more at disneyplus.com/whatson.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. You're ready to move your business forward, but first, you need to find the right team. Start your search with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It can help you reach qualified candidates fast, ensuring your listing is the first one they see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs are 90% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. See the results for yourself. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Here's my 30-second story with Guinness. As soon as my sister and I get home for the holidays, we don't even unpack. We head straight to our pub. The bartender already knows our order, Guinness and fries. We laugh all night, catch up with old friends, and walk home with faces sore from smiling. It's one of my favorite nights of the year. That was my 30-second story with Guinness.
Guinness Draft Stout. Please enjoy responsibly. Imported by Diageo Beer Company, USA, New York, New York.
The McDonald's Snack Wrap is back. You brought it back. Ranch Snack Wrap. Spicy Snack Wrap. You broke the internet for a snack. Snack Wrap is back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Dripping in gold? That's cool. Dripping in Velveeta's supremely creamy golden cheesiness? That's respect. Elevate your drip with Velveeta's range of outrageously delicious dips and dishes. Shells, cheese, melty blocks, and heat and eat queso that go all in on indulgence. Flex on your fam with a creamy, cheesy masterpiece and go all in on what you love with Velveeta. Respect the drip and satisfy your cravings. Bring home the drip with Velveeta.
Hello and welcome to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. We are so excited to bring you this show.
Our podcast is all about unraveling all of your favorite mysteries from the Assassin's Creed games. Each episode will be talking about a different topic in the Assassin's Creed universe. From Pieces of Eden, Solar Flares, and the Isu, to the Hidden Ones, the Order of Ancients, and of course, the Animus, we will seek to uncover it all.
So join us and maybe even take a leap of faith.
Assassin's Creed Lorecast. My name is Shelby. You also know me as She-Cup. And we're back with another episode of the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. And I'm here with my co-host.
Hey, this is Austin or Teacup. We are here with the Assassin's Creed Lorecast, and it's going to be exciting.
So what are we doing on tonight's episode, Austin?
So this is our last lore episode for the year. Because next week we'll have our patron chat, and then we'll take a break for the holidays, and we'll come back next year. And so instead of kind of just like, oh, we'll end on an Assassins versus Templar, which I toyed with a little bit, I decided, you know what, this has been a while, and several games have come out since we've last done this. Let's do an overall ranking of the Assassin's Creed franchise. And so this would mean basically going through all the games and giving our opinions. Naturally, Shelby still has not played every game. There are some that she has either skipped or one that I don't think she's ever going to go back and play.
I'm never going to play Rogue. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I'm not interested in playing a game about a Templar. Now, if it was Juhani Otto Berg, that would be a different story. But it's not, so I'm not interested.
I think you should give it a chance. I know I talk crap about Rogue in general, but one, there's more Adewale content in there. There's more Haytham Kenway content. there's more Otto Berg content.
These are all fair. These are all fair points.
And it's like Black Flag, but a little smaller. So it might be, I would at least give it a shot.
Okay. Well, anyway, we can go ahead.
It's short. I think it's like 6 sequences. So you could knock it out. I think I've played it in a week from start to finish before.
All right.
So anyway, back to where we're at. So we're going to go through all the games, and we are going to like basically rank them out of 10 in a category, and then just kind of give an overall ranking. I did not go through and do the math, so we'll have some of that in there of me doing the math. But I'm sure that if there's pauses between that, our lovely editor, Shelby, will cut that out, so you wouldn't even know. So we will be talking about gameplay, and in this category, we'll talk about mechanics, parkour, combat, exploration, more. Story, we're going to talk about the story overall and what we think about it, but also kind of dive into like how it connects into the larger world of Assassin's Creed. And then we'll talk about performance, graphics, bugs, other things like that. Any questions?
I don't have any questions, but my only thought is preface for the listeners. I know that I have some hot takes on here, so don't get mad.
Yes, and this is just a preface. Like, I want to preface, these are our opinions. This is our experiencing of these games, and is not meant to be a slight. Like, I'm going to talk a lot of crap about Edward Kenway in this episode. I know Edward Kenway is a fan favorite. Like, all respect to you if you love Edward. I think there's a lot to like about Edward, in general as a character. So don't get offended. Don't come after us. This is just our opinions. I'm not presenting this as some like definitive ranking or whatever for all the Assassin's Creed games. This is just what we think about each Assassin's Creed game.
Like, also, it's not a definitive, like, this is the best. We're not saying it's the best. We're saying, in our opinion, based on the gameplay, story, and performance, this is what we think this ranking should be.
Yes. And also, if you are a big Valhalla fan, I'm just going to apologize to you right now.
Yeah, maybe turn it off.
Yeah. But that is that. There's a lot I like about Valhalla. So, Shelby, remind me when we get there to say the good things that I like about it.
I'll try.
All right. Let's just jump right in and start at the very beginning. So there are 14 games total. Another preface, we are only doing main games. So the Chronicles, any of the offshoots that are going up, like the old, like there was a Game Boy Advance game and a PSP game and other things like that. I'm not covering Freedom Cry. I'm not covering AC Liberation, anything like that. We're not covering really any of the like offshoot DLCs that are not part of the main story. So like even the Origin DLCs, like I didn't consider them. I did with like Odyssey because those are
they're built into the game
and they're continuations of the story, but like there's but like the tyranny of King Washington, I'm not talking about that. Just because it's an alternate universe and it's within the gameplay, and we're just really focused on the 14 main titles of there. And so just to let you know, that's Assassin's Creed 1, Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, AC3, Black Flag, Rogue, and then we'll take our mid-break, Unity, Syndicate, Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, Mirage, and then Shadows.
Let's start from the top.
All right. So AC1, I mean, I really had to think about this. And I thought about this in a long time of just in general. So for gameplay, for me, like this is the OG. This is the one that kind of introduced this style of gameplay. And for a little history here, Ubisoft had delved a little bit into this kind of like stealth-based gameplay with both Rainbow Six and the Splinter Cell series. And so there was like more stealth-based games that relied more on like sneaking around and doing that than it did for like just bursting in and doing all of those things. But Assassin's Creed was really the first one where you like you blended within the crowd, you moved about that, like you were truly like an assassin that would move in and out of a place. I mean, there is really nothing in Assassin's Creed 1 of accomplishing walking into a stronghold with all the guards in that game and never triggering combat. There's just something to say about it. It is very dated now. It was revolutionary for the time. And I just have to say, going back and playing this on other consoles, this game was made in 2007, which means that it is older than Dragon Age Origins, and it plays worlds of better than Dragon Age Origins.
Oh yeah. Well, and to be fair, Dragon Age Origins is a way bigger.
Yes, that is also true.
Go ahead.
But yeah, so I gave it an 8 out of 10 in gameplay.
I also gave it an 8 out of 10 in gameplay, and I don't think we mentioned this at the beginning of the episode, but we are ranking these in like the context of the era in which they came out. Like if we can't compare Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed Shadows in terms of graphics. Like you just can't do that. So we're taking it in its context. And I think for a game that came out in 2007, like I agree with you. It was, amazing, super popular for a reason. And I just kind of reflect on parkour. Parkour is always kind of the thing in the gameplay that sets Assassin's Creed apart from other universes. And I just feel like this is the game that starts it all. Like the parkour in Assassin's Creed 1 and 2. Really, we haven't seen that since those games. 3 a little bit too. But like even with Mirage comes very close, but even with Shadows, when they tried to kind of like return to that, like, oh, you can parkour in a city, it just still misses the mark. And so for me, I have to agree the gameplay is an 8 out of 10, and it just seems like they can't replicate it.
Right. I think Mirage is the one that really comes close, and it's because it's set in the same area of the world as AC1, and so you have similar like architecture. But like even with Shadows, it's really hard to like jump from buildings to buildings. It's really hard to move across these big cities like Kanto or Kyoto or any places like that with not touching the ground.
Yeah.
Like in AC2 and 1, you could parkour without ever touching the ground.
Mm-hmm. True.
In fact, in some of the later games, like when they introduced memory achievements, like they get the full sync, there were some that were like, do this without ever touching the ground.
Yeah, I never did that shit.
So yeah, that's really where I'm at. So I think we're of an opinion there for 8 out of 10 total. All right. So story. Honestly, reflecting back, and I went on the wiki a little bit to kind of refresh myself a little bit on like what happened in these points. This is 10 out of 10. Especially, I've been toying with this idea in D&D, and Assassin's Creed 1 actually does it, where you start out at the top of your game, and then you have to go all the way back to the beginning.
Yes, it does.
With nothing. And like you have what you were able to do, and you know what you were able to do, but you can't do it. And honestly, that's great. I think the twist of Al-Mulin as the villain and everything is an awesome, awesome twist, and it's just really well written. And from a story perspective, this really set Ubisoft and the Assassin's Creed team on the map of diving into these historical contexts and writing historical fiction while remaining very, very true to the historical context and the culture.
Yeah.
Like the choice to not play as an English crusader in this game in 2007 is a really, really intentional one.
Yeah, and I mean, I think one of the biggest things that's like not quote unquote historically accurate is they made the voice actor of Altair, Philip Shabazz, use an American accent, use his real voice. And if you want to hear more about that, you can go listen to our episode with him where we interviewed him. And so I definitely agree with you. This game, for me, the storytelling is 10 out of 10. I am a person who, writes for a living. I enjoy narratives. I love reading. And this was a twist I didn't see coming. And so to me, that's always a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with everything that you said. And like, even like with the Philip Shabazz thing, like they made that decision, but decided not to ignore it because there's a conversation where Desmond asks Warren Vidic, he's like, why do they all speak English? And he goes, they're not. The Animus is translating for you.
Right.
Which it makes sense. Like, I like that. It's basically Desmond is watching a dub of the scene.
Right.
In
like
English.
It's a good lore explanation.
Right. Which they've moved away from that. I mean, Bayek has a Middle Eastern accent.
Yeah.
Bayek has an Egyptian accent. Like, these are all things that happen. And so then performance, I don't remember any bugs. I mean, it runs pretty well other than like general parkour stuff of like, it's slow and it's really easy to vault yourself off a building.
Yeah, but that's not a bug. That's a user error.
Correct.
I do also agree. I feel like the performance is still 10 out of 10. And like, yeah, graphics are bad by today's standards, but like it's not a buggy game. It's well made. By the way, how they haven't released a remake or a significant like modern day remaster of this game yet is crazy.
I agree. It is crazy to me. I think the engine limitations are what is happening.
Yeah.
Similar to Dragon Age Origins.
Fair.
Well, there's a lot of reasons why Dragon Age Origins isn't getting a remake. But the engine limitations are really difficult to overcome.
Yeah.
All right. Any last thoughts of AC1?
Nope.
All right. Let's just get this out of the way because this next game is near perfect.
We didn't give our...
Oh, total rating. So for me, total rating, I guess, is a 9 out of 10.
Technically, it's a 9.333 repeating out of 10.
We'll round down.
I don't think we're going to get higher than a 9.
I don't think we are either. Mainly because looking at this, I think this one is going to be exactly the same.
I know it is. Yeah.
But this next game is near perfect, in my opinion. Like, there are some critiques that I'm going to have of it. But right off the bat, this game is a 10 out of 10. And it improves on Assassin's Creed 1 in every way, possibly. The parkour gets faster. Ezio can swim. The combat is more fluid. They introduce fighting with the hidden blades. You can fight with the hidden blades in
I forgot about
Assassin's
that.
Creed 1. It improves on AC1 in every single way. And honestly, if you have never played Assassin's Creed before, I tell people to start with AC2 and to look up a story for AC1, just because AC1 is a lot dated, and like if you want to go back and play it, you can, but if it is a steep learning curve.
It's hard. That's what I did. It was really hard.
Yeah. So, your thoughts on the gameplay?
I do agree with you. I do think sometimes the gameplay is a little frustrating, even though I gave it a 10 out of 10. And I say this for probably all of the older games. There's just, it's hard. Like, especially when you become notorious. It's very easy to become notorious and just get attacked at every moment.
Right. Yes. The notoriety system is difficult. I will tell you that I hate tearing down posters so much.
I would rather tear down posters than pay money.
I guess that's fair too. Money's so easy to come about.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You get passive income.
Okay. I'd never had enough. You don't buy enough artwork, apparently, for the villa.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't really care about that. But yeah, so story-wise, again, this game is iconic. And, like, we didn't talk about the modern day in Assassin's Creed 1 because, honestly, like, it is interesting, but it's just kind of like a background to, like, the main story that you're doing in the, with Altair and all of this. And it's still, like, in a background. And I will say this, the modern day story is never really the focus of the game. The focus is the historical context that it is played in. However, this game in its modern day story expanded the modern day world so much because it introduced us to the other assassins. It introduced us that we're told the assassins were eliminated in AC1, and we come to find out no, they weren't. They're still alive and kicking, and there's groups of them, and they're coordinated around the world, and they're really fighting against the Templars, and it made you feel a part of this. It also introduced the bleeding effect into Desmond and raised a lot of tension and a lot of good story. Also introduced us to the best purple marriage couple that we've ever met.
Lavender marriage?
Or lavender marriage, sorry.
And Sean and Rebecca, I presume.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that you're on a modern day kick. And you always have been. But for me, the highlight of the Ezio saga is the Ezio saga. Like, he is the blueprint for a reason.
Yes. And like, I think one of the we've talked about this many times, but one of the reasons Ezio starts out is because we are literally with him from birth to death. The game starts with his birth. That's the first thing we experience. And we end in Assassin's Creed Embers with his death. So we follow Ezio throughout his entire life. And that leaves an impression. And he is a character that grows immensely. Who he is by the end of Revelation to the beginning of 2 are completely different people. Completely different people who have a completely different understanding of the creed, of life, of anything. And it's just a big thing.
Yeah.
So anything about, I guess we can move on to the performance. Again, 8 out of 10. It's just dated for me in a lot of ways. A lot of repetitive things that happen in this game. That's really all I have to say about the performance.
Yeah, I don't really have many more comments either. And it looks like we, again, have the same exact ratings as last time across all 3 categories. So we're at a 9 out of 10 again.
9 out of 10. All right. So we have Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. And this one, for me, in gameplay, is an 8 out of 10.
Our first disagreement.
Yes. I love the Brotherhood system. I love the assassins and gathering all of them. I love the fluidity of combat that it looks in there. Like, combat became more fluid. It introduced the chain kill in this game, which was really, really important for dealing with people. The side missions are meh. That's how I feel about that with the gameplay and everything like that.
I hear you. I do. I think my favorite thing about Brotherhood is that you can really build up your little assassin group. Like, you can really have your trainees and you can send them on missions, and I just really enjoyed that. And yeah, so for me it's a 9 out of 10.
Definitely. I see all of that point in that. And then, of course, with the modern day, as you pointed out, that we're not there yet. Sorry. Story-wise, I think this is my favorite of the Ezio trilogy. I definitely would give this story a 9 out of 10. And it's probably my favorite story of the Ezio trilogy. I don't think it is objectively as good as AC2 just because it's the blueprint, but it's my favorite. I like the story of Ezio building up the Brotherhood. I love his back and forth with Machiavelli, and I love just building all of that. I love Claudio's role in there. I think Cesare is a great villain. Just all of that.
Agree completely. It just cracks me up though, because Jedi is your favorite of the original trilogy of Star Wars, and so I kind of expected Revelations to be your favorite, just kind of going with that resolution theme. So I'm just a little surprised.
Yeah, I just enjoy this game, the story the most.
Well, I agree. I do think that this one is a 9 out of 10 for me. I just, the only reason I deduct a point is, yes, there are some things that are different from AC2, but it is kind of repetitive, and it begins on that big cliffhanger resolution, and so I just feel like we could have had a little bit of some different things happening.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And so moving on to performance, I give it a 10 out of 10 in performance, and just in general, never experienced a bug. The game looks great. The game runs great.
Right.
Everything is really great.
Like, yeah, it's old, but there are no bugs. Like, it never once crashed on me.
Right.
That's impressive.
All right. Any last thoughts on AC Brotherhood?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, I think we're looking at
a 9 out of 10 again.
Yes. You are at a 9 out of... You're like a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
And then I'm probably a 9 out of 10.
No, I'm a 9.3 out of 10. You are at exactly a 9 out of 10.
All right. So we'll just call it a 9 out of 10 for both.
Yeah.
Wow. This is not as controversial as I thought it was going to be.
So far,
I have a feeling.
Wait for part 2 after.
After the mid break for some controversial opinions.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, we have 3 games to get through before then. So we're at Revelation next. Gameplay wise, 8 out of 10. It's the same as the other 2 in the Ezio trilogy. Bombs and collecting all the material for the bombs and stuff sucked. Hated it. I hated the tower defense thing. Like, all of that was not fun for me.
Yes. But I raise you the little, what's it called? The hook.
Oh, the hook blade? Yeah, that's really good. I raise you the
hook blade.
The hook blade is really good.
So for me, it's a 9 out of 10 because of the hook blade. The only reason I'm deducting a point is because so much of the city, like, it doesn't get locked away, but that's the only word I have for it, where, like, you just get hunted down by the Templars if you don't, like, complete specific missions in time, and that pissed me off to the max.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Yeah, but we're going to get into the story now, which is our first real disagreement. So I gave this a 9 out of 10 because it is a classic Ezio story, and I do like the tie-ins with Altair and kind of like basically closes up the ancestor story and the modern day to set us up for where we're going to be in Assassin's Creed 3. So I appreciate that. I love Yusuf. I love Sophia. I love the romance story there. It's awesome. I just like the Templar line in this, and the story in Constantinople is boring and forgettable to me.
I don't disagree entirely. I don't think it's forgettable and boring. I think it's just kind of like average. But my opinion is that the actual story of this game, the actual like emotional centerpiece of this narrative is Ezio searching for Altair. The scene where Ezio finds Altair's dead, decayed skeleton is such a banger of a scene that the literal rest of the story could have been a 0 out of 10, and I still would have given this a 10 out of 10.
Wow, that's pretty high praise.
It's a great scene. I mean, like, truly, like, I had chills watching that scene for the first time.
It is a really good one, and I will say that scene with him and Sophia walking around is one of my favorite explanations of the Assassin's Creed understanding, and like the line of, I don't think that this statement of the nothing is true and everything is permitted it's the beginning of wisdom, not its final form. And I really like that understanding.
Yeah, I do too.
And then performance, 10 out of 10. Like, it was fine. Like, never had a bug.
Yep.
Game looks good. It's good.
I agree. Also, I don't know if this is a hot take. Middle-aged Ezio is the most attractive Ezio. I'm just putting it out there.
I also agree with that.
OT.
All right.
Okay, so my scores overall are a 9.6, actually.
All right. 6 for Shelby out of 10, and a 9 out of 10 for Austin. All right, so we're moving on to AC3 here. Gameplay for this, I gave it an 8 out of 10. The collectibles sucked in this game. I liked the side missions. I liked the assassins missions. They're just to the point of there is a repetitive thing in these Assassin's Creed games that gets tail a target, assassinate the target, keep going. And they lost some of the variety in when AC3 started and onward. And I think it really shows in like a lot of the quests and other things. But like the homestead stories, building all the stories with the homestead, the actual core story of Connor going with the revolution, finding Charles Lee and Haytham and all of that, excellent. Everything else leading up to that, not so great. And even like the actual revolution.
Well, you've kind of gotten into mixing gameplay and story here, but for me, gameplay is a 7 out of 10 because I hate how much snow there is. Like, that's the only reason.
You hate the snow?
Yeah, it's horrible. I hate trudging through it. I hate when it falls and you can't see anything. And the mission with Connor and trying to find his mom when he's lost. No, absolutely not. I do not ever want to do that again.
Yeah. That is a spoiler for how she's going to feel about Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
No, I have other thoughts.
But yeah, a story. I gave the story 10 out of 10 and no, I'm not biased. As you all know, this is my favorite Assassin's Creed game. But story is great. Connor is a fantastic assassin. All the characters are great. This is something that you need to know. Like, a lot of people skipped the homestead missions because they were kind of side missions or whatever. They are not side missions. They are main missions, and you get a fantastic scene of Connor burying Achilles. And it's like right before he goes off to like hunt down Charles Lee is when he buries Achilles.
I cried.
And it is a big moment. And like the wordless scene of Connor finally hunting down Charles Lee after everything. He's lost his mom. He's had to kill his best friend. The person who he was working with, who he thought he trusted in the revolution, actually betrayed him and did a lot of bad things and caused the death of his mom. Like, he has lost so much. He's lost his father. And he sits there wordlessly in that wordless scene with Charles Lee where they just stare at each other. And Connor finally kills him. Mm-hmm. And there's no like confessional. There's no nothing. It just ends. 10 out of 10.
I agree with you. And here's the thing. You are biased, but you're also correct. It is a 10 out of 10. And it's truly, at the end of the day, it's because all of the characters, not just the protagonist, all of the characters you meet in this game are phenomenally written. Every single one. Haytham is so well written as the introductory character that people were disappointed he wasn't the protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
That is good writing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then performance. I remember some bugs. I remember some lag and things like that, but that's really it. So I gave it an 8 out of 10, which I think brings my entire total to an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I am agreeing with you on the 8 out of 10 on performance. I don't really have a lot to add. For me, my total ended up being 25, so an 8.3 is what that comes down to. So 8 out of 10 really for both of us.
All right, got that in there. All right, so we just got 2 more before our mid-break. So we have Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Gameplay, I said 10 out of 10, and I just in my notes I just wrote one word, which is pirates. That's all I have to say.
Okay. It's fine. Like, I loved the jungle. It was so different. Like, going from AC3 with the snow in Massachusetts to the Caribbean is such a vibe shift. So I really enjoyed that, especially like the intro scene of where you like wake up and you don't know what the hell is happening. I really liked that. And I thought it was a cool intro of like Edward just like finding the assassin outfit and people thinking he's an assassin, but he's not really. And that's kind of how he even gets involved. Great hook. I enjoyed that. Did not love the ship mechanic and fuck the sea shanty. I'm not a fan.
Okay.
Like going and hunting them down.
Okay.
I love the songs.
Yeah, we were about to fight.
No, I love the songs in and of themselves. But like trying to chase them on the wind, absolutely not. Full stop for
So
me.
you didn't do the almanac pages in
Oh,
AC3 either.
hell no. I
Yeah.
didn't do any of that crap.
Again, this is like the start of like AC Assassin's Creed getting a little like oversaturated with collectibles.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, story.
I gave it an 8 out of 10. I liked it when it came out a lot. I liked the twists. I liked the kind of modern day stuff. It was all right. I wondered where they were going to go without Desmond. I thought it was fine. But honestly, now I cannot stand Edward as a character. I find him so insufferable.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I do agree. And I think for me, this story stops short of developing his character enough. Like, I could come to like Edward if we had seen more of his development of like why he ended up joining the Assassins and like what ended up making him a good assassin when he went back to England. Like if we had seen more of that arc, great. But as it is, we just like kind of see his fall and his rock bottom, and we don't see him climb up out of that pit very far.
Right, exactly.
So it's a 6 out of 10 on story.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'm surprised you didn't deduct a point for like virtually no modern day either.
Oh, but there is a modern day. It counts.
Yeah, but it's
compared
like
to what we
don't-
have.
Okay, fair.
Anyway, performance 10 out of 10. Didn't have any issues. I played it day one, launch day.
It's a 9 out of 10 on performance for me solely because my game crashed one time just as I had killed a whale, and that made me really mad.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the whales are hard to kill.
Yeah. I think that puts you at a pure 8 out of 10 because your total is 24.
All right.
All right, I had a 9 out of 10 for the total.
Okay.
AC Rogue, and this is our last one before the mid-break. This is really just me telling you what I think because Shelby didn't have anything, so this will be quick. 7 out of 10, just a Black Flag remake in gameplay, in reality, like, and still has all the collectibles, has the same problems, everything like that. So 7 out of 10. Story, 5 out of 10. I like Shay. He's all right. He annoys me with his make the own luck. I enjoyed the like tie-ins to Hatham and all of those things. I enjoyed the modern day story with Otto Berg. Stop trying to make the Templars sympathetic. Like, they are the bad guys.
Stop trying to make that happen.
Exactly. Come on, Gretchen. I don't think there's a Gretchen that works for Ubisoft, but whatever.
I'm sure there is
Yes.
somewhere.
Maybe somewhere.
They're a huge company. Of course there is.
Yeah. If you're a Gretchen who works for Ubisoft and you listen to this podcast, stop trying to make the Templars sympathetic. Performance is fine. 8 out of 10. So that brings my total up to like under a 7, a 6, almost a 7. Total's 20. So just under 7. We could round to 7 if we wanted, but 6 out of 10. Rogue, sorry. Maybe you shouldn't play it. I said that at the beginning of the show and then gave it a super low rating.
Yeah, 6.6666. So what does that tell you?
Yeah. All right. The Templars are the devil. Anyway, just kidding. Just kidding. Let's go to the mid-break.
All right, let's do it.
This is Jason Momoa, and I'll be your finance professor today. Welcome to Banking Smarter 101 with Chime. Bam! First lesson, sign up for Chime and set up direct deposit. You'll be joining millions of members banking fee-free. Second lesson, get cash back on eligible purchases while building credit and a higher APY on your savings. That's how you bank smarter this season. Fa-la-la-la-la, class dismissed. Join Chime today.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and a secure Chime Visa credit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. Details at chime.com/feesinfo. With a qualifying direct deposit, earn 1.5% cash back on eligible secure Chime Visa credit card purchases. On-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. APY means annual percentage yield. Learn about credit building and more at chime.com.
This episode is brought to you by McAfee.
I found this great place to stay this weekend.
Click on the link and book it.
Oh, wow. McAfee alerted me that this site is fake and even blocked it.
Cybercriminals create fake sites to steal your passwords and financial data. McAfee identifies and blocks these sites to keep you safer online, so you can book your trip without worry. Learn more at McAfee.com/online protection.
Get Popeye's Scary Good Freddy Fazbear Box with garlic palm tenders and cheesy bites with marinara sauce. Or try the deluxe box with the cupcake cup and a 20-ounce drink and see Five Nights at Freddy's 2, only in theaters. Love that chicken from Popeyes. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants.
You look like the one thing in the world Alcibiades wouldn't take to bed. Can you even see out of that thing?
Mock all you want. When those Malakas and Zakros see this beast charging towards them, they will know fear!
Let's start light. Tell me a joke.
Why must samurai always battle one another? Because there is only one way for a samurai to get ahead. Ahead. I did not say it was a good joke.
Makose! Shoot! Shoot the flying demon!
Hello and welcome to the middle of the show. This is where we take time to do all the things that have to do with the lore cast and not the lore of Assassin's Creed. So first up, I do have to thank all of our amazing patrons. Thank you all so much for supporting the show. The best way to support the show and to ensure that we keep making the show for forever is to support us on Patreon. And you can find the link to do so at patreon.com/ACLorecast. Now, the next best way to support us is to leave us a rating, a review, a comment with kind words, wherever you listen. And if you leave us one, you may even get it read out on a future episode of the show. And so today I have one to read from our protagonist rankings episode. And this one comes from Ben B, who said, "Great episode, guys. Agree with most of your opinions. My only one that I'm unsure of is Aya, because I wouldn't classify her as a protagonist. I always thought of her as a side character that you can play as for a few segments, and maybe that's why she didn't get her own skills, but all in all, fantastic. And one more thing, Altair is granddad, Ezio is dad, and Cassandra is mommy. Haha." Thank you so much for that awesome comment and review, Ben. Thank you again. And then lastly, but the last thing I have to tell you about is our Discord server. We always say it's the best place on the internet, and we truly believe that. So if you want to hang out with us, talk about Assassin's Creed, other video games, or just make new friends, the Discord is the place to be, and you can find the link to join in the episode description. And with that, let's get back into our rankings.
When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Oh, Hilton stay, your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay, oh, Hilton stay.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. Enjoy comfortable rooms and friendly service when you stay with Hilton instead. Save up to 25% this season when you book with Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Terms apply.
In Walmart's Huluville, time was ticking away. Only a few nights left till the big holiday. But last-minute gifters had no need to worry. Walmart Express Delivery got their gifts in a hurry. From Nintendo to Nespresso and Lego Flowers, they could check off their lists in as fast as an hour. All of Huluville, East, West, South, and North, could order gifts up until 5 p.m. on December 24th. So this holiday, just do as the Who's do. With gift delivery this fast, they all gasped. From Walmart? Who knew? Subject to availability, terms and fees apply.
No, you're right. Let's all just screw around while the world falls to pieces.
Hey, this isn't easy, you know.
Right, like we're all on vacation out here? Enough! Look, everyone's under a lot of pressure, but we're the only ones who can stop Abstergo, so we need to keep it together.
She's right. We need to be a hive mind, people. Anybody up for some reconciliatory yoga? Anyone?
Very funny, guys.
You have my thanks. Keep the sword, Ezio. Do I know you from somewhere?
Don't you recognize me? It's me, Mario!
Uncle Mario?
It's been too long, Nipote. Far too long.
Malaka.
All right, let's do it. All right, this is another one that's just going to be an Austin exclusive, which is Unity, which ironically, spoiler, is the same ranking as Rogue, which is ironic because they came out in the same year, if you didn't know.
That's why it's so buggy.
Mm-hmm. So gameplay, I enjoy this combat the most. It's the most intuitive. It's like really reactive without like really getting away from the Assassin's Creed format. I really, really like that. Story, so I gave an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 on the story. Great tragic lovers story. This very Romeo and Juliet. I liked going into a place where the assassins are the stronghold, where they are like, they have a stronghold. They're not building themselves from the ground up. I really enjoy that about Unity a lot. And the parkour is great. The game looks great. However, performance is getting a 4 out of 10 because not only was it a buggy mess and that its day one patch, like the first patch of the game after release, was larger than the game itself, is embarrassing. But what's furthermore embarrassing about this game is that it has been 11 or 12 years since the release of Assassin's Creed Unity, and it is still buggy.
I didn't realize that the day one patch was bigger than the game. That's crazy.
Yes. This game will probably go down on one of the, like, this is the beginning of Buggy Soft.
The beginning? I feel like it's kind of like the solidification.
Yes, probably. That's probably a better word for it. But yes, like,
I'm surprised you're putting it as high as a 4 then.
Yeah, because like when it comes to, because performance is also graphics and it looks really good.
That's fair.
But just like, it is so bad. Like,
Yeah.
y'all think that Shadow's bugs or the bugs with Valhalla were bad, but like this was unplayable.
I mean, to be fair, I do think that Valhalla comes second in bugs.
Yes, 100%. It was terrible. And so that puts it at a 6.6 repeating.
Wow, I'm surprised it's that high, honestly.
Yeah. When I replayed this game it was either this year or in 2024. I just really, really enjoyed the story. I enjoyed Arno as a character. I enjoyed his relationship with Elise and the lore that it built behind. It was just really good.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Right. And so that brings us to Syndicate. And Shelby gets to bring her opinions in here because she has played this game. She hasn't finished, but she's played a good bit of it.
I played half of it. I didn't finish, but I feel like I played enough to weigh in.
Yes. 8 out of 10 on gameplay. It's the same as Unity, but has better side content. It runs better. It's a little easier combat-wise than Unity is, which I kind of found dull and boring, but I really like. It's a good game. It is the GTA of Assassin's Creed game, especially with the carriages. I really like the carriages, and you build up a gang. Like, you literally build up a gang, and I liked that part of it.
I hear you. I liked the swinging. Like, there's so many tall buildings in London that you can swing from. And I feel like so many of the games prior to this had been just like low buildings, like not a lot of parkour. Like, you could parkour pretty good in AC3 and obviously prior to that. But like, I don't know. I didn't play Unity, so that doesn't count. But it's fine. Like, there's a reason I didn't finish it, you know?
Right. Will say with Syndicate, it is the first game where we deal with huge buildings.
Yeah.
Like, more than just like,
tall. Yeah.
And like, there are tall buildings and towers in AC2, but like, the immense feeling of London is just unparalleled.
Yeah.
And like, moving through that industrial, and the fact that you and I could go to London right now
And see these same buildings.
Yes, and see all of that going on. So yeah, that's where I'm at with gameplay. Story, I gave a 6 out of 10. It's boring. Crawford Sterrick is a great villain, but just Evie and Jacob are not enticing. The story is not enticing. Like, the most enticing part of this game is the modern day story, and that is really saying something.
Here's my thing. I think the story in and of itself is fine. Like, taking down these like wealthy like robber baron-esque people. Yeah, that's interesting. That's enticing. That's a great story. But the characters bring it down. And like, that's insane. It's insane to say, because the main characters, the protagonists, are so dull and contribute so little, really and truly, to the story. Yes, they like do their main actions, but like they do not have a huge impact on the narrative. And with a cast like Darwin and Dickens, Alexander Graham Bell, Jack the Ripper, Queen Victoria, boring protagonists don't hold a candle to those kinds of icons.
And like this era, so America is in the middle of its civil war, or its civil war just ended.
It's in Reconstruction.
Yes, in Reconstruction. Like, this is such a defining period of England's history. Like, and I know, like, you have like the Henry Kings and everything like that, of like really defining of like who England is, and like all the way back to, you know, the Third Crusade with the Magna Carta and all of that defining it. But like the Victorian England period, like the Victorian era, when you think of modern day England and the modern day English nobility, Victorian England is really where that started.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, like, you're absolutely right. Well, she reigns until 1901.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I feel like, for me, I feel like the modern day era really starts in like the time in between the World War.
Yes, absolutely.
Because like World War I, they don't have tank warfare. Like, they're in trenches. By World War II, they've got tanks, they've got airplanes, they've got bombs. So things really progress in that time period. And then after the Second World War, it's just faster and faster and faster.
Right. And it's weird to think about in a way, because she dies in 1901 is when she stops ruling, which means that she is not that far removed from Queen Elizabeth.
No.
Like, so I would
It's
assume
crazy.
George V is after Queen Victoria. That's Elizabeth's grandfather?
No. It's Edward the... I don't remember which one.
Oh.
But it's her son, and then the first George, and then the second George, and then Elizabeth, I think, is
Yes.
the order.
So Queen Victoria's successor would be Elizabeth's great-great-grandfather.
I believe that is correct.
Yes. That's not that far removed.
No, it's not.
And so that really is important. Like, and
Edward the Seventh. I looked it up.
yes, I just feel like this game, in the way they established the story, you could have put it in America with the Rockefellers and not really understood the difference.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
And like,
And I honestly, frankly, if they wanted to like make it a true like class discussion, it probably would have hit harder in America.
yes. But yeah, but I feel like Syndicate had such an opportunity to address the class situation in England. And like, because the assassins don't come from the nobility, they're in the common people. And like, we're branching in. We're not that far removed from like the Peaky Blinders era.
No.
And
A few decades before.
Yes. And so we are getting to that point with the Peaky Blinders, and like, that's all about class in a lot of ways. Like, that's all about the English nobility. And I know Peaky Blinders is in Ireland and
it's in England
and stuff, but like, that is the big point here. And I feel like we miss the larger political happenings of England that are happening, because I think they didn't want to make the crown the villain.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. But I also think just the English in general, they have such a different relationship to class than we do in America because, again, they have nobility. We don't have nobility, and we never will.
Very true. And you introduce a character like Karl Marx in this game and then don't talk about communism. You introduce a character like Charles Darwin and don't talk about evolution.
Right.
And there are things of people trying to discredit him and all of that stuff with Darwin, and you get a little bit of that. But and Charles Dickens, one of the best writers of all time, really.
Yeah.
Just I don't know.
It's a lot of missed opportunities.
Yes.
And to be clear, I don't think it's a terrible, but it is. There are some missed opportunities here. But let's move us into performance.
Yeah. 8 out of 10. It's buggy, but it blows Unity out of the water.
I gave it a 7 because I couldn't remember a single thing about it. So to me, that's average of average.
That's probably fair. Summary. So for me, the summary, let's see.
Your overall score.
My overall score for this one is a 22, so that gives me over a 7.
I got 19, which is a 6.3. This is my lowest one yet. Surprised. I definitely thought Black Flag would be lower, but I don't think it'll be my lowest by the end of the episode.
Probably not. So here we are. Origins, to the beginning of the RPG trilogy. Gameplay, I gave a 7 out of 10. It's good. It's refreshing of the series. It is just classic action adventure, target lock, dodge, block, those kinds of things in there. But it is refreshing and a new take and a reboot of the series. It is repetitive. Go kill this animal, save that. That's all the side missions. You do all of that. No guaranteed assassin is a real ding in this game for me. In gameplay.
That's fair. Here's my take on it. I gave it an 8 out of 10 because I do think some of the things you said are fair. But I think that the gameplay of this game is unfairly judged because this is the beginning of the restart of the series and they launch into what would become the RPG trilogy. But when we take this game, Origins, as it came out, when it came out, not knowing what would come after it, it's a phenomenal game and the gameplay is awesome. The gameplay starts a lot of really innovative and interesting trends in Assassin's Creed and brought back some old ones, we hadn't had hunting in a game in a long time. But the thing about it that people look down on is that it created this kind of base template that Ubisoft just has not innovated past.
That's fair. Story, this is really not going to be a long one or debate. 10 out of 10, I cry every time.
10 out of 10, no words necessary.
Exactly. If you want a perfect example of what an Assassin's Creed story is, and emotion, this is the game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And one last thing, sorry. This takes every single good thing we've said about every single Assassin's Creed story before this one and puts them all in there. Tragic lovers who can't be together, tragic family stories, a character growing and understanding, a character moving beyond where they're at, emotion, interesting NPCs, all of these things Origins does perfectly.
Yeah, the story of Origins ticks literally every mark that you could find.
Exactly. Performance with the FPS update for 60 frames, I cannot find a better performing Assassin's Creed game.
I've never had a bug. Even before that update, never had a bug, never had a crash. 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. All right. That puts my rating here at a 9, a perfect 9.
I am a 9.3.
All right. So we'll just call it a 9 for both of us. All right. Like I said, this might be where we make some enemies, especially those fans of the RPG trilogy. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Gameplay, I gave a 7 out of 10. Again, for the exact same reasons as Origins, honestly. Gameplay is exactly the same. Introduction of more comprehensive ship combat was a nice return, but it honestly plays exactly like Black Flag. So it's not that innovative. It's just a return to something we had before. And so I can't rate it higher than
Mm-hmm.
Origins in that way.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I gave it a 7.5. And I think it's fun. I think the gameplay is fun. But A, they didn't do anything differently from Origins. It's literally a copy and paste. And for me, some of the abilities don't make sense with the lore.
Yes, I agree.
So it's a 7.5.
Right. So story, I gave this one a 9 out of 10. And honestly, this story would be a 10 out of 10 for me. I think it gets away from something that is the Assassin's Creed formula. I was okay with the like RPG dialogue choices that it made because it was so far back in history. Do you know how much we know about the Peloponnesian War? Not a lot. Not a lot. There was not a lot of records kept. And with the burning of the Library of Alexandria, as we talked about, we've lost so much. So I was okay with that. However, when they started taking the DLC and railroading into choices, I was like, okay, you've got to pick. Do you want to have this open-ended, like, an understanding of, like, we don't really understand what happened in history here, so we can have a little more freedom, or do you want to play this like you have played every other game? And so I got really, really frustrated by the DLC's railroading in that sense.
I think that's completely fair. I hated that they forced her into this heterosexual romance. And it's just kind of like, why would you give us the choice just to take it away?
Exactly.
Go ahead.
I will say this as avid BioWare fans. If BioWare did this in a Mass Effect or a Dragon Age game, if you think the fandom was upset about Andromeda or the Veilguard, if they did this, it would be over.
If they did this, people would burn down the Edmonton office.
I really think that's the truth.
I truly believe that.
I just want
like this is the equivalent of making Solus and the Inquisitor run off into the Fade together, say fuck the world, and have a baby.
Right.
That's insane.
Which you can do.
No, there's no baby.
I guess there's no baby, but you can fuck off into the Fade if you really want to.
It's just crazy. It's just crazy.
But yeah, I agree with that. And like, I think that's a good perspective to put this in of like what this choice did for people in like a role-playing game, because this is really the first one that I would say is a true like RPG.
Yes.
The closest we've ever gotten to a true RPG.
And I will say, I think the only 2 games in all of Assassin's Creed that can be classified as an RPG are this one and Valhalla. Yes. I don't even think Shadows fits in.
No, I would classify them as action-adventure games.
Yeah. But getting into the story a little bit, you know, I love Cassandra as a character. I love her so much and will always be on that train. But if we're judging this also by the story and how it ties into the Assassins, well, at the end of the day, she's not one. And it doesn't tie in. I think that Odyssey is a very entertaining romp, but it leans on DLC to A, make it a true Assassin's Creed game, and to B, have any real consequences past Cassandra's time period. And this is my hot take. The only reason people rank this high in story is because Phoebe's death made them cry.
I think that's a fair criticism. My ranking in the high of the story is that this finally gave us like a lot of insight into the Isu that was really interesting. And I want to point that as like interesting in the way there because I'm about to criticize Isu heavily with our next game.
Yeah.
And I think Valhalla does it too much. But Odyssey kind of had this blend of whatever. And like this is my problem with Layla's games. Because we haven't talked about Layla yet. My problem with Layla's games is that they introduce this conflict and then they throw it away by the time Valhalla's over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, finish your freaking stories. Finish what you're trying to do. You started this Juno thing and then finished it in a comic. Finish your stories. Tell a complete story. The reason people love Assassin's Creed 1 through 3, those 5 games,
is because they're a complete narrative.
Yes, because it follows Desmond's complete narrative of we watch him move from unwilling research subject to assassin hero who's willing to sacrifice him to get to the world. That shit is compelling. That shit is whole. It is a cohesive story. Stop starting stuff and then just abandoning it.
Yeah.
And that is my critique of this, is it starts so much interesting things and then throws them out the wall.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, I'm not a big fan of Layla, but like, if she had been given as much time as Desmond, her story would have concluded in Shadow.
Yes.
And if you think about it, like, having 2 more games, and really, like, she's barely in Valhalla at all, like, that could have really made her story something worthwhile.
Exactly. But we need to kind of move through.
Yeah, so my story rating for Odyssey was a 6.
All right. Performance 10 out of 10. I don't even remember anything ever going wrong in this game.
I don't either.
And it looks amazing. It's a beautiful game.
It's beautiful.
So that brings my total to around a 9, a little under a 9, about an 8.5.
Yeah, mine's a 7.8.
All right. Valhalla. This game, the more I think about it, the more frustrated I get with this game, which is how I feel about The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. So that's pretty damning. 6 out of 10 for gameplay. Mainly because, like, it's the same as the other 2 games. It didn't innovate anything interesting or anything beyond that. Like, raids are cool, but they're boring after a while. Like, the gameplay is boring. The world is open and empty, and you have these cities like Winchester and London, which, like, I get it. It's a time ago and they weren't as big as they are now, but they're still heavily populated area. Like, Winchester, England was the seat of power in England for centuries.
Winchester was more influential in this time period than London.
Right. Like, it would have been
They still
huge.
had cathedrals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they still had palaces. No, they weren't quite the same as they are now. Like, they didn't have Buckingham Palace then, but, like, they still had big buildings.
Right, and you have to remember that the Romans came in here and built a bunch of crap.
Well, and to be fair, they do have Roman ruins in the game.
And just with all of that, like, you can't... I hate the explanation that it was a long time ago, because the pyramids are older than any other building, than most buildings that we see in the world. And those things are huge.
Yeah.
Like...
We can do it. We can figure it out.
Like, it's possible to have that kind of stuff. And so it takes everything from Assassin's Creed, the first 2 in the RPG saga, and just makes it worse.
I don't think it's fair to say makes it worse. They just leave it there. And so it kind of degrades is the way I would put it. Because for me, it's a 5 out of 10. I know for you, it's a point higher than that. But, like, I liked building up my little town, Ravensthorpe. Yeah, that was great. That was fun. I like decorating all that stuff. But also, everything else was terrible. Why is it so freaking big? It's England. England is a small one island. Why is it so big?
I agree with that. And, like, I think that, to put this in perspective, it takes longer. In the state we live in, it takes longer to get from the northmost point of our state to the southmost point across it.
Yeah.
It takes longer to get across that than it does to drive from one end of England to the next.
Right. That's crazy. So, yeah, why is this game so big? It has no reason being as big as it is. And also the fact that Eivor literally never got a one-handed sword is crazy.
Well, she did.
Okay, like way later.
Yes,
like
way later.
Years later.
Yes, I think it was in year 2 of the game.
That's crazy.
So yeah, story, honestly, I started with a 5 out of 10, but the more I've thought about it, I think I'm going to go down to a 3.
Oh, that's what I did. I'm going to move mine down then if you're moving yours down.
I'm going to move down 3. This is a fan-freaking-tastic setting for the Assassin's Creed game. Like, this period of England is so right for everything. And if you've listened to this podcast since the beginning, you know we are huge Last Kingdom fans. And, like, this is so ripe for everything. There's so much politicking going on. There's so much truce and movement between the Danes and the Anglo-Saxons that there's just so much going on. And you have such memorable characters like Ivar the Boneless, and just the way they treat the Sons of Ragnar in this is like afterthoughts when they were the ones calling the shots.
Yeah.
Like Ragnar Lothbrok started this whole thing, and his sons were the ones who finished it.
Yeah.
And so just like the way they gloss over all of that in a lot of ways in favor of like Eivor fills this kind of like the same role that like Uhtred Ragnarsson does of like, we don't have this person who there, but we think that there were people that moved between Saxon and Dane who like were balanced between and
people who had, you know, moms who were Danes and dads who were Anglo-Saxons or vice versa. Like they existed.
Right. And there were people of influence, and there's people that we think like an Uhtred of Bedivere like existed. But it might have been multiple people versus like
and Eivor plays that role in the game.
Yes, Eivor plays that role, and so I think that's a right way to go. But like the Danish lore, like the Viking lore, Norse mythology and all of that, already had a mythological way to introduce the assassins, and they didn't take it.
Yeah.
And I think that is a huge missed opportunity. I think this game is a waste of the setting that it's put in. 3 out of 10.
Dang. I agree with everything you've said. For me, it's a 2 out of 10, which is what it is. And the reason that I give it so low is not because of the setting, like you have summarized that very well. But I think while this game has some very interesting characters that have potential, it ultimately falls flat for one reason. And that reason is because they refuse to commit Eivor as either an assassin or a Templar. As I have said before many times on this show, I hate Templar-focused protagonists. But Eivor becoming part of the Templars would have made sense. And I would have been okay with that. I wouldn't have minded it as much. But the refusal to kind of pick a side and she wants to walk this middle way, it makes the game work, in my opinion. And the only reason I've rated this as high as I have, and I'm saying a 2 out of 10 is high. Okay, that's how you know my real feeling. The only reason my ranking is that high is because of Alfred. Phenomenal characterization of King Alfred.
Yes. And like we're really passionate about this because like we love this era of history.
Yeah.
Like we love this era of English history, and the it's a really formative time for Christianity as well.
Well, and
like,
just for England.
And in England, but also like not exploring the tensions of Christianity and Norse religion and Danish religion is a missed opportunity, because it is the blending of these ideologies, it is the blending of these cultures that sets up the framework for the Church of England.
Exactly. But also I think, and they do this a little bit in the game, of exploring the tension between true Christianity and the Christianity as used by the Templar or the Order of Ancients. They explore it a little bit in Alfred, but like the game sets it up as like, okay, there's Alfred who's a true Christian, and then everybody else is just like pretending to be one so they can get power. And that's not really accurate to history. I wish that they had explored that tension more within the Templars, and they probably could have had Eivor become one.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. And then just the Isu stuff was just so much. Like, I love Basem, and I will talk about how much I love Basem in a minute. But just, it was so inundated to have so much Isu stuff, but no Assassin versus Templar kind of in there is just really frustrating. And then performance, I also gave it a 3 out of 10 in that, which I guess is lower than I gave Unity. So maybe whatever. But the fact that a lot of times when I play games, the PC bugs are way worse than the console bugs.
Yeah.
And like a lot of times I play games on consoles, I don't have any bugs, but I go to the PC and there's tons of bugs.
Yeah.
Jedi Survivor is a great example of that. But I had so many freaking bugs in this game. There were so many times I had bugs in this game that just made it unplayable.
Yeah.
The seasons broke things. Like Ravensthorpe was almost impossible to navigate.
Yeah.
Due to performance.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. There were so many times this game crashed on me, and I would just stop playing because I was like, okay, I'm demoralized. The one that sticks out to me though is the floating candles. Like I had that happen so many times, and like it is funny, but also like where are these candles coming from? Like I don't understand.
Exactly. Just
So my score for Valhalla is a 10.
Total. So that puts you at a 3.
3.3.
My score for Valhalla is a little higher than that because it is a 14. So that puts me at like a 4.
Yeah. It's rough.
Yeah, it's rough. All right. Mirage. Gameplay, I gave an 8 out of 10. I really think I might rate this higher as a 10 out of 10. It is perfect in a lot of ways. And replaying it for the DLC that just came out was really, really good. The parry system, it's hard. It reminds me of standard Assassin's Creed. It looks amazing. I know that's performance, but like the gameplay is just really good. There aren't too many collectibles. The collectibles mean something and grant you things. There's a variety of gear that lets you move differently. I feel like this is the modern day successor to the standard formula of Assassin's Creed.
I agree. I think the gameplay is a 10 out of 10. Yeah, it's really hard, but it's good. Like people always say in this fandom, I want to return to form. I want a game like AC2. This is the game. This is it. They did it. Go play it. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Just because it's got Basm and it's got the eagle in it and all of the things like that, and it's got the teleporting assassination ability. Like, who the frick cares? He's half East. He's like mainly. He's like, majority Isu.
It's fine.
But yeah, I think 10 out of 10 on gameplay. I gave. Did you what 10 out of 10 for you too?
Yeah. You said 8 out of 10.
I know. I changed it to now 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Story 8 out of 10, and the only reason it's getting docked 2 points is no modern day.
Yeah, I agree regarding the modern day, but also my biggest critique of this game, and this is like the reason why it's not like a perfect, for me, is because I just left the game feeling bamboozled. Like there's the whole twist with like the visions or whatever that he's having, that like the people are dead. And I just felt like, not that it came out of nowhere, like there were signs, but that happens and then it's like immediately he falls and destroys their little hideout. And I just felt like there wasn't enough lead up. Like they could have been working in some of that earlier in the game, or gave a little bit more time between the argument that he had with Roshan and the end of it all.
Right. And I think that the fight with Roshan in this game for me needed to come after he discovered his identity. So it's not Basm fighting Roshan. It's Loki fighting Roshan.
Yeah.
Is really where I feel about that.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that. Like it needed to happen earlier.
Very much so. Performance 9 out of 10. I had like a couple bugs at launch and that was it, but it looks great and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I don't remember a lot of bugs. I do remember a few like glitches with my horse and stuff, but not necessarily like true bugs.
Right, definitely that. So that put my total for this game at a 9 out of 10.
That gave me a 8.6.
Oh, solid. Shadows. Gameplay 7 out of 10. Exploration and combat were just a little boring. I think that it improved a lot and it had a lot of good elements on it, and like definitely improved on like everything Valhalla lacked in combat and exploration and all of that. But again, just like it just got boring and repetitive, and Shelby will talk about the environment because I know she has opinions.
I hate the bamboo. Like, I hate the bamboo. And I know that there's so much of it because of where we are. I get that. But, like, they did not have to make it impenetrable. At the end of the day, they did not have to make the bamboo and mountain completely inaccessible and unable to get through at all.
Right.
But yes, it is better than Valhalla, but like at the end of the day, they are still following this template and just like not really innovating. So I agree with you. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
All right. Yeah, 7 out of 10. Story. So I broke down the story a little bit. Yasuke, 10 out of 10. Would play again. Loved it. Best story I think we've gotten since Bayek.
Yeah.
Naoe, 8 out of 10. Docked for not finishing it.
Yeah.
And then AC tie-in was weak. It just was really weak.
Mm-hmm. Here's my take. I loved Yasuke. And if it was just his story, it would probably be a 9 out of 10 for me. And I get that they didn't want to just like not have a Japanese protagonist in a Japanese game. I get that. But like, first of all, they totally completely pulled a BioWare with Naoe's storyline of like, okay, we're just not going to finish it. And then we'll like give you the info in the DLC. But then they gave the DLC that they gave us was just like an oopsie. Here you go. I'm going to half-ass AI generate this DLC. And it's like, that's not an answer to the question that we asked. It's the story as it stands is incomplete. Yes, we get some answers in the DLC, but like, we don't know if the Assassins ever made like a legitimate and real official presence in Japan. We don't know if the Portuguese and the Templars took over, etc. There are just a lot of missed opportunities with the narrative of this game. And so for me, like, I just can't rate it higher than a 5.
Yeah. That's pretty low. Performance for me, getting on there, was a 10 out of 10. I literally never had a bug or anything. Yeah, I know Pathfinder didn't work out when it launched, but it was all right.
Yeah, mine's a 9 out of 10, minus 1 point for the Pathfinder not working correctly. Here's my thing, though. They delayed the game 3 times, so yeah, it sure as shit better run well.
I guess that's fair. I mean, if they had delayed the game 3 times and then released some Unity level shit, probably would be the end of Ubisoft.
No, I agree. And it should be. Like, that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable to charge us almost $100 for a game, have it be buggy as hell after you've made us wait extra time for it. Like, no, that's great.
Right. So that, for me, in that brings my total here, because I need to retotal. So that's 7.
I'm a pure 7.
I'm an 8. So our highest ranked games were was a tie for Mirage
Origins,
which I think was a 9.5 for you.
And
no,
9.
1
and 2, I think.
And then 1 and 2 were 9. You had a 9.5 somewhere.
I think it's Revelations.
Oh. Yeah, 9.6. Revelations was your highest. And then mine is all tied for basically the entire Ezio trilogy is a 9 out of 10.
Yeah. I think the reason why I like Revelations so much is because it like ties Ezio in with Altair, and I just do feel like they are the two like assassins that we look up to the most, and I enjoy that a lot.
Right. It's the perfect like it's the game that like, okay, we've tied up all of the loose end side quests and now we're ready to go fight the final boss.
Yeah.
Like that's what Revelation feels like in the progression.
Yeah, I hear that.
Which I think is why like a lot of the games that come after AC3 feel weak, is because I feel like there is no direction with the game. And I think that I really don't want to say this. I think the writers are trying to find a direction. But I think when it was originally created, they intended to end it with Desmond's death. And so when they were tasked with creating it and keeping going, they were just...
They didn't know what to do.
Let's finish this off.
Well, I agree, but I also think there's just been so much executive meddling that the writers can do all they want and they can write a phenomenal game. But if an executive comes in and redlines that, takes this out, and says, no, we can't tell that story, or no, your protagonist has to be a man, well, yeah, it's going to be worse writing.
Right. And like, I want to acknowledge here that like I've talked a lot of crap about these games and all of this, but at the end of the day, like I do not direct any of this hate to the people who actually worked on this
We're not
game.
hating. Like, let's just make it clear. This is not hate. This is like neutral critique. I always say this. Critique is neutral when you do it that like not mean-spirited. And we're not trying to be mean-spirited.
Right.
We're not doing that. We're just critiquing these games. That's not hatred. We can be negative and talk about something that we didn't like, and that's totally fine. Because at the same time, there's a ton of stuff in this episode that we've absolutely loved. I mean, like, let's be real here. There's only one game that even rated at a 50% or less.
Mm-hmm. And it was
That's
the
not
game
hate.
that was released during COVID.
That's not hate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just want to say, like, just in general, like, I have a lot of respect for the creators of Assassin's Creed and the
absolutely.
writers and the developers and like the creative directors of all these games.
Yeah.
They have given us a phenomenal franchise.
Yeah.
Just
Full
across the
stop.
board. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, there's always going to be something to criticize in a game because it's so big and like there's always things you can make better. And anyway, but I think that's all the things we have to rank. Maybe next time we can do a offshoot rankings.
Right. I have to play them.
Yeah. Yeah, I've played some of them, not all of them. But anyway, thanks for putting this episode together. Austin, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
I love Assassin's Creed. I know we'll do a patron chat and we'll do this, but it has been a great year, and I look forward to another year of the Assassin's Creed Lorecast.
Me too. Me too. All right. Thank you, listeners, for listening to this episode of the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. You can find us on Twitter at AC Lorecast.
If you have any lore questions or topics to unpack, join our Cups Podcasting and More Discord server. It's the best place on the internet. You can also support us financially through our Patreon. Find us on patreon.com/Assassin's Creed Lorecast. The Assassin's Creed Lorecast is part of the Robots Radio Network. For more information about the Robots Radio Network, join the Discord server via the link in our episode's description.
If you enjoyed the show or learned something new today, please subscribe, leave us a review, and join the Patreon. And if you enjoyed our intro and outro music, make sure you give a big thank you to Pipeman Studios. Thank you, Pipeman. Thanks again for listening to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. And always remember, Assassins, stay in the shadows to serve the light.
Have you ever wanted to deep dive into the lore and stories behind all your favorite Marvel movies? Then do we have the show for you? I'm Captain Shenko.
And I'm Psych88. Join us as we dissect the media megalith that is the MCU. We'll talk about the origin stories, the fights, and everything in between.
The MCU Lorecast releases on all major podcasting platforms on Mondays as part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club and can be found on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.